The Rivonia trial was a turning point in the history of South Africa, solidifying Mandela's status as a symbol of resistance. Mandela's leadership during the trial and his subsequent imprisonment on Robben Island became central to the narrative of the struggle against apartheid. Robben Island is a small island located in Table Bay, about 6.9 kilometers (4.3 miles) west of the coast of Blaubergstrand in Cape Town, South Africa. The island holds great historical significance, particularly due to its use as a political prison during the apartheid era. Here are key aspects of Robben Island. Robben Island was initially used by Dutch colonialists in the 17th century as a place of banishment for political prisoners, lepers, and those with mental illnesses. In the 20th century, Robben Island gained infamy as a political prison used by the apartheid government to incarcerate opponents of the regime. Many anti-apartheid activists, including Nelson Mandela, were imprisoned here. Leadership on the island. Notable political prisoners, including Nelson Mandela, Walter Sisulu, Govan Mbeki, and Ahmed Kathrada, were held on Robben Island. The prison housed activists from various anti-apartheid organizations. Prisoners on Robben Island faced harsh conditions, including limited access to education, meager rations, and grueling physical labor in the lime quarry. Mandela and his fellow inmates were often subjected to intense and oppressive conditions. Political prisoners were often kept in isolation to prevent communication and coordination among them. Despite this, they found creative ways to share information and maintain a sense of unity. Mandela and other prisoners developed secret codes and methods to communicate with each other, passing messages during prison chores or through coded letters. Transformation through education. Despite the challenging conditions, many political prisoners on Robben Island used their time to educate themselves and others. They organized clandestine study groups and discussions. With the end of apartheid, Robben Island was decommissioned as a prison in 1996. It has since become a symbol of the triumph of the human spirit over adversity. Robben Island is a UNESCO World Heritage Site recognized for its historical significance and contribution to the struggle for democracy. Today, Robben Island is a popular tourist destination. Visitors can take guided tours that include a ferry ride to the island and a tour of the prison facilities, including Nelson Mandela's former cell. Mandela's prison cell on Robben Island has been preserved and is a focal point of the tours. Visitors can see the small, austere space where Mandela spent a significant portion of his 27-year imprisonment. Mandela's cell has become a symbol of the resilience and sacrifices made by those who fought against apartheid, as well as a symbol of the triumph of freedom and democracy. Robben Island, with its complex history, serves as a reminder of the struggles faced by those who fought against oppression and as a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. Chapter 4: Presidency. Nelson Mandela's release from prison on February 11, 1990 was a historic and transformative moment in South African history. Mandela had spent 27 years in prison, the majority of which were on Robben Island, as a result of his anti-apartheid activities. His release marked a turning point in the dismantling of apartheid and the beginning of negotiations for a new, democratic South Africa. Here are key details surrounding Mandela's release. Mandela's imprisonment had become a rallying point for anti-apartheid activists globally. The international community, through campaigns like Free Nelson Mandela, had put pressure on the apartheid regime to release him. In the late 1980s, there was a shift in the political climate in South Africa. A combination of internal resistance, economic pressures, and changes within the government, including the ascent of F.W. de Klerk as president, contributed to a willingness to negotiate the end of apartheid. In a historic speech to the South African Parliament, President F.W. de Klerk announced a series of reforms, including the unbanning of political organizations such as the African National Congress, ANC, and the release of Nelson Mandela. Prior to his release, Mandela engaged in negotiations with the government. While in prison, he had already been involved in discussions with authorities about ending apartheid and transitioning to a democratic South Africa. Nelson Mandela walked out of Victor Verster Prison, now known as Drakenstein Correctional Center, hand in hand with his then-wife, Winnie Mandela. The world watched as Mandela, then 71 years old, took his first steps as a free man in nearly 3 decades. Mandela's release was symbolic of the beginning of a new era of unity and reconciliation in South Africa. His message emphasized the need for forgiveness and the creation of a non-racial and democratic South Africa. The news of Mandela's release was met with jubilation and celebrations worldwide. People from all walks of life, both in South Africa and internationally, rejoiced at the end of Mandela's long captivity. On the day of his release, Mandela delivered a triumphant speech from the balcony of Cape Town City Hall, addressing a massive crowd gathered to welcome him. His speech emphasized the need for continued struggle against apartheid and the vision of a united, democratic nation. Following Mandela's release, the ANC and other anti-apartheid organizations were unbanned, allowing them to participate openly in South African politics. Mandela played a central role in negotiations to end apartheid and establish democratic elections. These negotiations eventually led to the first multiracial democratic elections in 1994.